The following is a true story, submitted by a viewer. It was the summer of July, 1993. I had just turned 18 and moved from Ohio to Georgia on a whim with my boyfriend. As temporary accommodations, we moved into the home of a young friend of my boyfriend's mother who would become our landlord. The landlord had left some of her personal belongings behind as her parents didn't know that she was living with her boyfriend in his apartment. She would have a key, but would not access the home as we were living there. We quickly settled in. The small, one-bedroom home was on an acre of property right by the woods down a secluded country road with just a few neighbors. It was a very quiet, peaceful area in Athens. My boyfriend found a job at a local restaurant a few miles away. He was gone daily until late at night, so I found myself doing a lot of reading to keep myself occupied. After just a week, strange things began to happen. One windy night as we were trying to sleep, we could hear a tree branch brushing up against the side of the house at the head of our bed. The window was on the opposite side of the room, so the sound was that of a branch scratching the siding. We both remembered the small tree outside our room and thought nothing of it. A few more nights went by with this tree branch continuing to scratch against the side of the house. This would continue almost nightly, even when the wind was still. One day we walked outside and I happened to look at the tree. The nearest branch was a good 10 feet away from the home. Even with the branches extended all the way out, it was impossible to reach the house. Needless to say, we were a little freaked out. Within the next week, things became a little stranger. For the next 3 nights, the bed would shake. It was a small, quick, rocking movement that lasted a few minutes each time. Both of us were unnerved and knew the other wasn't doing it on purpose. Being that I was the one that had to check on any noises, I knew he was afraid to try to scare me at this point. The scratching sounds and the bed shaking eventually stopped. A few days went by. My boyfriend and I were standing in the kitchen talking. Out of nowhere, a candle fell from on top of the stove right in front of us. The stove was level and the candle was centered. It was simply pushed off. The next day, my landlord's alarm clock went off in the middle of the night. My boyfriend and I were both in the living room and couldn't figure out initially what the noise was or where it was coming from. My boyfriend figured out that it was the alarm clock, but asked me to go into the bedroom to turn it off. Neither of us had any need to use the alarm clock, especially in the middle of the night, and by this time, we had been living there for 2 weeks. Who said it, and when? Soon after that incident, I began to feel like I was being watched. When I would walk down the hall from the bedroom, I literally felt like someone was 1 step behind me. I would turn around and no one would be there, but the presence was strong. It felt evil. It was almost as if someone was breathing down my neck with every step I took. By the time I reached the living room, the feeling was gone, but I would look down the hallway and knew that if I went back there, I would not be welcome. I didn't want to upset anything supernatural, so for hours during the day, till my boyfriend came home at night, I stayed on the couch reading books while the radio played loud to drown out any noises that I might hear. The bathroom was right next to the bedroom. Every time I was in the bathroom, I felt that evil presence standing near the shower. When I would take a shower, I would be sure to never close my eyes and take the quickest shower possible. When I stood in front of the bathroom mirror to dry my hair, I felt that presence staring me down. The anger and hatred I felt was intense. It not only wanted to scare me, I knew it wanted to hurt me. It wanted me out. Each day we stayed, the intense feeling got worse. I quickly finished drying my hair and left for the living room until nighttime when my boyfriend would come home from work. One night, after my boyfriend came home, we decided to start sleeping on the couch. He was also experiencing those tense feelings. We ran into the bedroom, turned on the light, grabbed our pillows and blankets. He was the first to run out of the bedroom with me following right behind. He asked if I would go back and turn the bedroom light out. We looked towards the bedroom and noticed that the light was already out. We were so anxious to get out of there that neither of us thought about turning it off. He slept on the couch for the next few nights and made me lay on the side that faced the bedroom. We had asked our landlord if she had ever experienced anything in that house. She said no. She looked at us oddly when we explained to her what we were going through. Having nowhere else to go, we called my boyfriend's stepfather, who was a pastor at a local church. My boyfriend had asked his stepfather to come bless the house. Without hesitation, he came along with my boyfriend's mother. We all formed a prayer circle in the bedroom, and soon enough his stepfather was putting his hands around the neck of a big brown teddy bear and started speaking in tongues. By this time, my boyfriend and I were already in the living room. We wanted to be far away from whatever might piss off this evil spirit. His stepfather then proceeded to bless the house by putting crosses on every window, using his finger and holy water. He then told us that there was a demon hiding in the teddy bear, but now he was gone. There was also other entities in the home, but none as evil as that particular one. The landlord had a lot of clown figurines on the shelves in the bedroom. Before my boyfriend's mother left, she had stashed away the teddy bear and put the clown figurines inside a nearby cooler. A couple days went by and things started to go back to normal. We continued to sleep on the couch, but that feeling of being watched was gone. One day, while reading on the couch, I looked over and noticed that the cross made out of holy water on the front door window was now red. It looked like watered down blood that had dripped downward and then dried. It stayed that way for the remainder of the week. The day after that, the clowns were out of the cooler and back on the shelves in the bedroom. We mentioned this to my boyfriend's mother, and she said that even though the house was blessed, the spirits could enter back in through the walls. She didn't want to tell us this initially in case it didn't happen. That night, we slept in the car, miles away. Luckily, the same day, we found other accommodations and moved out. Some months later, we were in the neighborhood and decided out of curiosity to see if that presence ever came back. We knocked on the back door and no one answered. The door was unlocked, so we walked in, thinking it was abandoned. The back door led right into the hallway. The moment I stepped into the hall, I felt peace. I couldn't believe that once haunted hallway was now filled with sunlight and calmness. We walked into the kitchen and found a healthy cat with food and water. So we left quickly, now knowing that someone lived there. It was amazing how a place that once felt so evil now felt welcoming. We drove away, and we never looked back.